Words are one of the basic items used in MANUSpostdeveloper. As described in detail in the video, understanding how MANUSpostdeveloper works, words are the major elements used inside commands. This video is prepared to explain all the details about how words are formed and used. Words tab shows all the words created in an operation. Words can be defined in different operation levels in the operation tree. As general, we define all the words in the top level. Words that are defined in the below operations are mostly used when a change is needed in the word for that operation. When you define a word in a sub-level in the operation tree, this operation starts to use this word instead of the one defined in its parents. So, this means if an operation doesn't have a word defined in itself, it uses its parent word. Let's now see how to add words to an operation. First, activate the operation in which you want to add the word. And later activate Words tab. To add a new word, right-click on the word statement and select Add Word. A list will appear. This list shows all the variables defined in your post processor. Why are variables displayed here? In order to add a new word, the first thing you should do is to select the variable which this word will use. Therefore, all variables are displayed here, and you should select the one which you want to use in your new word. For instance, I am selecting circular rotation, vector k variable, in order to create my new word. The name of the word is automatically formed and displayed here. As you can see, this name is the same as the variable name, which is shown here. This is the default word name given by the post developer. You can change that name to anything you want. When you create a new word, if you already have a word in the same operation, which uses the same variable, a number will be automatically added to the default name. For instance, this operation already has command type word. And I am adding a new one. As you can see, 1 is automatically added to the end of the word name. Let's now see how the inside of a word is formed. When you add a new word and select the variable that you want to use, the editing screen will be displayed on the below left. A very similar screen will appear when you want to edit an existing word. Let's click on a word that is defined previously. The only difference here in these two displays is that this second view also displays the operations in which the same word is defined, and also shows which commands in that operation use this word. Other parameters are same for the two displays. Let's look at these parameters now. The first parameter is the variable that is used in this word. When you want to change the variable of your word, you should press Select var button. The second parameter is the name of the word, which I have just explained. Format shows how the word will be displayed in the NC program. Here, the @ sign shows the place where the value of the variable will be shown in the NC output. You can write any other character before or after this @ sign. These characters will be displayed in the NC program in the format you set. Let's see that. I will first open coordinate x word. You can see the default format of the coordinate x here. And I will generate an NC program with this default setting. Now, I will change the format of coordinate x. I will write x equals instead of x. Now let's regenerate the NC program. When we compare the two results, you can see that all x's are replaced with x equals. The next parameter is the modal adjustment for the word. Here you can choose whether a word is modal or not. A modal code stays active until another code changes its activeness. Therefore, there is no need to write modal codes at each new line, unless there is a code that deactivates it. For instance, G0, G1, G2 and G3 codes, which are defined inside command type word, deactivate each other. Therefore, you have to select yes here to make this word modal. The next parameters will be different, depending on the type of variable you select in your word. If the variable is of enum type, several variable-dependent parameters will be shown in the editing screen. For instance, if you click on command type word, you will see that rapid, linear, circular clockwise, counterclockwise and thread parameters are shown in the editing screen. These 5 parameters are special enum parameters of command type variable. All enum variables have their own parameters. In order to see the complete list of enum variables in MANUSpostdeveloper, look at our help page about variables. Command type is one of the most commonly used word in all post processors. It defines the general motion type as G0, G1, G2, and G3. And as I said before, this word is modal. Let's check now how modal adjustment affects this word. I am changing this word to unmodal. Now, I am expecting to see G0 and G1 codes at each line in the new NC program. Let's regenerate an NC program and see the result. When we compare the result with the previous one, you can see the G0 and G1 codes at each line. Here, we can also change the format of rapid, linear and circular move commands as well. I am converting G1 to G01. Both of these styles are acceptable, as you already know. Let's regenerate the NC program. When we compare the result with the previous one, we can see that all G1 lines have changed to G01. Let's now open a word which uses a double type variable. Coordinate X is such a word. Words using integer or double variables have these 6 parameters. First one is, use plus before number. As can be understood from the statement, if this is activated, plus sign will be added before the value. Let's see that. I will activate this parameter and regenerate the NC code. Let's compare the result with the previous one. As you can see, all X values have plus sign now. The next parameter here is decimal separator selection. You can set this parameter either as decimal point or decimal comma. Let's see its effect. This parameter is originally set as decimal point. I will change it to decimal comma for coordinate X word. Now I am generating a new NC program. When we compare the result with the previous one, you can see that X values have comma decimal separator now, instead of decimal point. Precision parameter affects the number of decimals. By default, we use 3-digit precision for metric unit and 4-digit precision for inch. Let's see its effect. 3-digit parameter is originally selected. I've changed it to 4-digit for coordinate X word. Now I am generating a new NC program. When we compare the result with the previous one, you can see that X values now have 4 digits instead of 3. Coefficient parameter is used to change the value of the word. For instance, X values are need to be doubled for turning mode in lathes and mill turn machines. This can be done with this parameter. Let's check this out. I am writing 2 as coefficient of coordinate X. Let's regenerate the NC program. When we compare the result with the previous one, you can see that X values are doubled. Don't write if 0 parameter is used in several special cases. For instance, maximum spindle speed is a good example for that. You need to define a maximum limit for the spindle speed on lathes and mill turns. Spindle max speed word is used for this purpose. When maximum spindle speed is defined by the user inside CAM software, this variable gets a value other than 0. However, if the user doesn't define a maximum spindle speed in the CAM program, this value will be 0 in some aptcl files. And we don't want to write 0 in the NC program as our maximum spindle speed. And as you can see, this parameter is activated as default. If I deactivate this parameter, maximum spindle speed will be written as 0, which is not wanted. Let's check this out. Now I am deactivating it and regenerate a new NC file. When we compare the two results, as you can see, maximum speed is written as 0 in the second example, where we deactivate this parameter. Dependency is the last parameter of words. And we will again use command type word to see how it is used. As you can see, there are several dependent words defined in command type. This dependency is to avoid writing G0, G1 codes alone in an NC line. This happens when there is an APTCL line with the same X, Y, and Z values as the previous line. Sometimes CAM programs generate such unnecessary APTCL lines. When we make the G0, G1 codes dependent to X, Y, Z value changes, we guarantee that G0, G1 codes will not be alone in the NC line.